Okay, like I said, I had to look up spaceships a little bit, and then I drew a couple of them on this scrap paper, which I'm going to use as a reference image. I drew a couple of more on another paper too. And I noticed in my reference material that most spaceships are very phallic, and I wanted to do something else, like maybe some more womanly shapes. And yeah, I did a couple of them already in Illustrator. Okay, I'll share my screen, and let's see, share the sound also. So then I went a little bit around the web in order to find nice star images of star fields and such, and it was surprisingly hard this time. Usually I found them quite easily when I've been looking for them, but then well, I went to Wikipedia, and after a while I found this site called Carina Nebula, which has these really awesome pictures. So it's a complex area of bright and dark nebulosity in the constellations of Carina. It's located in the Carina Sagittarius arm, or the Milky Way. So I was awed by all these images, and that they were also, most of them, quite high quality. Let's see, how big is this? Okay, here the original file is that big. Here it's 4,000 times 2,400. The reason why I was looking for big star images was because I want my starship to travel in space. Okay, this is called the defiant finger, or God's middle finger. This was quite good, and also the file is big. I don't know what that object over there is. Oh, I think it was called the keyhole. Yeah. So it's part of the nebula, part of the cluster. And this was quite awesome, and also awesome in size. So I think I'm going to download the original file, and so it's called the Mystic Mountain, by the way. Anyway, like this, the size of this is far too much. I don't need that big a file. Anyway, now you know where you can find star images if you want to. And since this is a school work and it's you won't probably publish it anywhere, well, other than your own website maybe, and you're not using these images commercially, so there should not be any problem, especially if you mention the author of the image at the end of your whatever you're going to do with them. But I'm just using them for this example After Effects animation, so I'm not going to mention the authors in this one. But here you can anyway find the original authors and the original files. Okay, let's get into Illustrator. And as you can see, I have already made a couple of things here, planets, some sort of mushroom-like spaceships, like really fast drawings with not much care. So what I did was I created a new file and went to film and video settings, and I knew that the pixel size of my After Effects file would be this one, 1920 times 1080 pixels. So I'm not going to do any 4K or 8K this time. The HD format is fine for me for now. So I created a new document, and then for the first layer, I made this basic white background, which I then later can delete because I won't be needing it. But it's nice to draw on a white background, that's all. And then I lock that layer. So I'm just going to show you my process here. That's why I'm in Illustrator now. And in the visual design class, we already did the this kind of drawings first with the blob brush tool, and then the live paint bucket. But yeah, I'm showing it again. So this time I'm setting the fidelity so that it will smooth my lines a little bit. It's 4 points. And zooming in a little bit and using the blob brush tool. I think I'll make the classic Jetsons kind of like flying saucer, like spaceship. And the reason why I'm doing this in Illustrator is because I'm using these outlines for my image, and I want those outlines to stay crisp even when I'm zooming into the image, or so basically that I can just make the image smaller or bigger as I go. So I'm not too concerned. Well, yes, actually I am. I did make a storyboard for what I'm going to do in After Effects, but it's not too clean at this moment because I want to leave a little bit of time for experimentation or space. Okay. Also, I always tend to forget that I kind of suck at drawing, but then I just choose to ignore that fact. So I'm not putting too many details here, as you can see. And yeah, I could make this with the geometric shapes and make it more, well, cleaner looking, but I'm now choosing this sort of handmade look. But I'm still trying to see to it that I don't leave too many gaps here. Okay. So that should do it, mostly. And then I'm going to make colors. Okay, in the classical Jetsons model, there would be like these legs under the spaceship, but I'm just not using that now. Okay, there's maybe something inside. And I'm wondering how translucent this is. Maybe it's a bit translucent. Okay, so then the next thing is, well, maybe to save this spaceship. And then I just activate it all or select it all with Control A, and then it's time to make it into a live paint group. First, I need to have some other color than black for it. There we go. Click to make live paint group. Yes, and now it's all a live paint group. So it's quick too. Okay, maybe the edges should be orange. So this is kind of a toy spaceship anyway. And I'll maybe want to use this blue orange again. And let's see, some sort of deeper blue for this edge. And I'll save that as a swatch too. And if I'm unhappy with the colors, then I can always go to the color guide and change them there. By the way, I think I'm not happy with the deep blue here. Yeah, orange works better. So I have in mind to make this into a color group later on. But I could use the deep blue over here in the insides. Yeah. Now I need to go a bit closer for these ones. And I see I made some of the outlines in orange. Let's go back. Okay, here we go. That's when it happened. Oh, this is sometimes quite annoying. Okay, now I got the orange. And I'll be more careful with it now. Okay, great. And then I've used the deep blue for, oops, this area. A kind of lighter blue here where the okay. And I want to save this as a swatch. What else? Okay. I need a brighter orange. These areas. Okay, sorry if this takes so long. Trying to be fast, but it doesn't always work that way. Okay, I'll make an even more deep blue over here. And for this area, I will need some sort of milky thing over it all. Question is, should it all be milky? Probably, but maybe I'm too busy to do that. No, that doesn't look good. Okay, I'll go with that. Right. Yeah, like I said, if I'm unhappy with these, with the colors of this ship, or if I want to make another one with different colors, okay, I'll call the layer, by the way, ship. So I could just make another ship, put it on the other layer, and then go to color guide. Here, editor apply colors. Don't recolor art just yet. Okay, I want to catch the colors of this artwork. So color reduction. Now here I'm going to make, here are the artwork colors, although it didn't catch the orange for some reason, but let's ignore that and go to here. And now I could change the colors. Okay, I think I'm not happy with this, but anyway, okay, I've taken enough time on doing this, so let's get on with it. Off to After Effects. Okay, here we are, and just start a new project, and then I need a composition. So I'm just clicking the new composition button here, and it's remembering my previous settings: HDV, DTV 1080, 25 frames per second. You can also use 30 frames, doesn't matter. So now I have 15 seconds here, and I think I'm happy with that. The default that it's giving is 30 seconds, which is quite long. And then because I'm probably going to do some nesting or pre-comps, so I'm going to the advanced and preserve the frame rate when nested and preserve the resolution when nested. Okay, and other than that, I'm fully set, and maybe I'll call my composition, what should I call it? Spaceship. So that's not the name of the project, it's just the name of the composition. Or let's put it, say, spaceships. Okay, did Tuomo, by the way, show you parenting last time?
I think so.
You did?
At least we show it's like on an earlier class.
Yeah, but not everyone was in the introduction to animation. I don't think Tuomo showed it last time.
Yeah, and not everybody here has taken the introduction to animation, so maybe I'll show parenting first, because we're going to use that later in when we're doing the creating a camera for the 3D layers. So I'll show the basic parenting at first, and let's So first I need to import some of my files. So there's the Mystic Mountain. Maybe I'll just import that at first as my backdrop. Okay, and as you can see, it is quite a large image, which is just what I wanted. Okay, I think this is as good a place to start as any. And then I'll double click here in the project window and import my spaceship images and planets and others that I've done. Okay, there's the spaceship Jetsons and other. So here again, when I have an Adobe file with layers, be it Photoshop or Illustrator, and I want to import also the layers, I will have to tell it, the program, not to import it as footage, but as a composition, and to retain the layer sizes. Okay, and then there it is. And the spaceship layers are over here, and I see that it also imported the empty white layer, so I'm going to just get rid of that. Yes, I'm not needing that layer. And by the way, these two spaceships are identical or almost identical. So, okay. And I'm going to import my other file with planets here. Again, as composition, retain layer sizes. Yes. And there they are. Okay, so I'll just drag my Jetsons ship over here. And what I want is that it's showing all the lines or the outlines as crisply as possible. So right now you see these jagged edges over here, although it's a vector image, so it's showing it as a pixel image. So I can change that by here. I'm toggling the switches and modes in order to find this setting. So when I'm so there's quality and sampling, and another one is for vector layer continuously rasterize. I'm not sure how it will do it when I create a 3D layer out of it, but let's see. Okay, this should do the trick. And why isn't it showing anything? Okay, that's not good. Okay, I'm not sure seeing any difference, but there should be a difference. Okay, but anyway, I'm at 200%, so that might be one of the things here. Anyway, this should help in making the spaceship look better, or the outlines should look better. Okay, fit. And let's make this spaceship a 3D layer. So how to make a 3D layer? It's very easy once you know where you can find them. they are over here. And once you have a 3D layer, you can, among other things, move your layers in the three different directions. So I'll show you what that means. Now the spaceship is a 3D layer, but the space backdrop isn't. So what I can do here is now I have the Y, X, and Z axis where I can move the ship around. Okay. And to see it more clearly, I'll take, instead of active camera, I take custom view from here. So now you can see it in the 3D space. So I can also move it in this direction. And since the backdrop is not a 3D layer, that's the reason why it's not showing up here in the 3D view. I could also have like two views, so that I could see on one, okay, on one I could see the custom view in 3D space, and the other one would be the like active camera. Now, as we don't have a camera yet, it's just showing the default view. So if I wanted to make this backdrop also a 3D layer, then it would start showing up here, as you can see. And now, as you also can see, the spaceship went behind the space backdrop. So I would have to move the backdrop a little bit further away. So how can I move in this view, in this custom view? I need the hand tool, which I can find either here or by clicking H. So like this, or I can use the camera tool, which I can find by clicking C. Now, as one of the layers was active, it was moving the layer itself, but now I can just change the view without moving the layer. So this is also kind of dangerous to have 3D layers, because then you will, there's the risk of skewing your image in a strange position. So that's something that you have to take into account. Like, or you could start skewing things up in a really terrible way. So now, for instance, for some reason, it's not giving me the move tools at all. It's giving me the rotation tools. So I think I'll click here from position and do it by the numbers. Like this. Okay, now I can see my spaceship. The other possibility would be just to change the backdrop back to non-3D layer, so then it will be always there in the same position, just like space should be. So maybe that's the best option right now. Okay, now I can move the spaceship image wherever I need it to move. And I was talking about parenting. So I want to make this spaceship move in space together with its friends. So I'm scaling it also down a little bit. Space is large. But what I want to do is I'm not going to attach movement to the spaceship itself. I'm going to attach movement to a null object, and then the spaceship and the other spaceships in the scene will follow that null object because they will be parented to that null object. And you can do this in 2D or 3D layers, doesn't matter at all. Okay, so I have a couple of other spaceships over here. So, okay, that wasn't it. This is it. Okay, I'll import this one spaceship over here, and I'll make it also into a 3D layer. And I think I'll have to rotate it. Okay. And these are now in different places. So in 3D space, this one is in front of this other one. And that's just how I want it to be. So if I would move this far away enough, then it would be under the other one. Now it's over it. Okay, let's make the null object then. And now I need only one view. And that would not be the custom view, but the active camera view. Here we go. Okay. So I think I'm happy with the positioning of these, and I'll create the null object, which they will both then follow. So null objects are layers, just like other layers. They have a place, null object. There we go. And I'm going to make that into a 3D object as well. And let's put it over here, though it doesn't really matter where it is, but I want to have the animation to it next. So I'll start the animation from over here. Not binding these objects yet into it. I first want to create the animation. Okay, so I need the, by the way, I'll name the null object as ship parent, because it's the parent object that the ships are going to follow. Okay, and I need the first keyframe for it, position. And I'm going, let's do this real slow. 5 seconds. And because it's a vector, I can make it a little bit, well, not much of it. Maybe this is good, and I'm not going to use any like accelerations or decelerations, because these are mechanical objects. They are moving in a steady pace. Okay, and let's see if there are any surprises that when I'm attaching these objects to the null object. There sometimes are. Okay, so I'm going back to the beginning. And now I'm going to parent the null object, the ship parent, to the spaceships. So I need to toggle the switches. No, I don't. The parents are over here. So I need to assign a parent from here. I could also use this spiral symbol for parenting, but I find this more doing it from here more logical in a way. Okay, so if there's the ship parent, I'll parent the first ship to it, and the second ship parent. Okay, and now they should be flying together. As you can see, that's happening. But this is a bit boring. Like, I want to have some moons and planets and maybe asteroids over here, and also I want them to be in different, so that they look kind of like being in a 3D space. But before I do that, I need to make the route that they are flying a little bit longer. So I want them to have a camera and have that camera pan from left to right, so that I can go further than this way. So one way of doing this without 3D layers would be just by, well, moving the backdrop, of course. You probably already figured that out, but if I want to do this with cameras, then let's see how that goes. Because now that we have 3D layers, we can also have cameras, and we can have lights and all kinds of interesting stuff. Okay, so layer, and a camera is a layer just like any layer. So I'll create a camera layer. There we go. And now it's showing this complex thingy here. And what's interesting here is if you want to enable the depth of field. So basically, if you want to have parts of your image blurred, like, or if you want, I mean, this can be also animated. So if you want to have the focus on your main character or something, then you can enable depth of field. But right now, I'm not going to use that. I'm just making a basic camera. Oh, by the way, since we have like moving objects, it might be nice to have some like motion blur to them. So this is where it's we can have like the simulation of motion blur. And from here I can enable it. It makes the animation a little bit heavier, so I can for now disable it so that my computer can handle it. But then later on, when I'm rendering this, I have to check that the motion blur is on, so the movement will look better. Also, if you have any kind of quick movement for your characters, if they move their hands very quickly, then motion blur is nice, because it simulates the way the human eye sees things in nature. So our eyes are not that fast at seeing certain kinds of movement. Bees are probably better at that, but we're not bees. I'd like to make honey. Anyway, so okay, I created a camera, and by the way, I could also give these layers different colors if I wanted to, but now for some reason the camera is pink. I could make it blue or red, but I think the pink is quite good for this occasion. Yeah, maybe I'll change the color of the background though. So this is just for my own benefit, that I can remember from the color codes what is what. Now the parent object, for instance, is deep red. And yeah, I think it's also better to put the camera up here. That's just a thing that I do usually. Also, I have the habit of putting any audio on the bottommost layer here. Also, I'm thinking if I should make pre-comp out of these three, but maybe it's not too many layers yet. So Tuomo explained to you about pre-comps and nesting last time, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, great. They are a very practical thing in After Effects. Anyway, so let's use the camera. And I need to have, again, the view of the 3D space for that. Okay. And maybe not two views, but one view with a custom view. Okay, there's the camera. And it's way over here. And if I click on it, it will activate. And moving the camera is a little bit tricky in After Effects, because you have to have two things here activated in the transform options. You need to have both the point of interest and the position, which you move at the same time. So this is the point of interest. And then here is the camera position itself. And also what I don't recommend you to do is tilt the camera in any direction, because that would, with 2D objects in your scene, the tilting will look terrible and make everything go strange looking very fast. So so move the camera in a like horizontal or vertical movement, but don't tilt it in an angle. And once you know that, then you're good to go. Okay, so what I need is the camera to move from left to right. And I'll change the view a little bit so I can grab the camera better, and maybe I'll also take the two views so I can see what's happening over there. And now I can grab the camera more easily. And I'll change into the selection tool and select the camera. And I need to go ahead in time. So this time I'll go right over to 12 seconds. And start moving the camera. And this is exactly what I want to do. I want to move the camera out of, so that the spaceships are out of the picture. Because remember, I wanted to later move the spaceships into this new area. And still I move the camera further. Okay. Maybe later on I will also move the space backdrop a little bit. Should I still move the camera further? Maybe. And as I'm moving the camera in the sideways position, you might notice that both the point of interest and the position are changing. Okay, but I think I'm happy with this for now, and I'll go back to one view. Which is the active camera. So now at some point in time, the spaceships will disappear. So I'll need to put more movement into my null object. And I'll do that now. There's the null object. And that's how far its movement will go. So I'll go so further in time here, for instance, and let's make the view. Okay, there's the null object. Now I don't need the camera, I need the ship parent to move. Okay, and there's my last keyframe for its movement. So come. Now I need to check that they are actually following, or if I should move it further so that it's faster. Oh, there's also a way of parenting the camera to the null object, and we can try that later on if we have the time. So then the camera would also always be following the null object anywhere it goes, or the whatever object you have attached it to. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think the camera is moving so fast that the objects are not keeping up with the pace. So I need to change place of this keyframe. And as there are no other objects yet, this looks a little bit weird this moment. But now it at least seems that they are moving forward. So I will place other things over in the way so that it looks more like there's some actual movement. And maybe I'll take a little bit of so that it's not that straight the way they go. So I took that from the pen tool. Okay. And for some reason, it seems that they are resting in space, although they are not. Okay, let's start. Okay, I'll first save this file. This project. And now I'm going to start putting objects in space so that it will look more interesting. Okay, so I'll start over here and okay, let's put a planet over there. And I'll need to assign the planet also as a 3D layer. And I need to make it a little bit nicer looking also. So put this over here. Oh, yes, that's nice. Okay, maybe that could be like an asteroid somewhere. So this is the starting position. And now it's a 3D layer. And let's see, I'll put that behind the spaceships. Is it behind them really or not? Nope, it's not behind. But now it is. Okay. Okay, I had a moon somewhere, so the moon could be over here. A small moon, that is. Okay, and they are going from the other side of the moon. And there could be another planet now. What was the color of the first planet? It was this one, so I could have another planet now. Here we go. And the interesting thing here is that when you go to the layer settings and look at the options here, they have changed. I mean, in the normal 2D layers, there are no material options. And also when you press transform, you see that there is like now all the position and all the other ones are in 3 axes. There's the X, Y, and Z axis, all of them. And so what's over at the material options, we'll be needing them pretty soon when I'm going to make lights here. So it's either casting shadows, you can say if it's cast shadows or not, or if it takes any lights transmission, or if it accepts shadows or lights. So I'll put a little bit of light transmission here already. You'll see it later why I'm doing this. Okay, and it's still some way to the final point. So I think I'll put one more moon over there. By just copying this moon. So I'll just duplicate the moon layer. By the way, I'll also call it with a shorter name, moon, and Control D, so then it will be a duplicate. So I'll go further in time and put it elsewhere. And this might be the destination, this moon. Okay, and I really need to do something with the movement of the ships over here. They seem to be stalling. Okay, there's the moon. And yeah, let's make lights. And what I could have done, I could have also moved these layers around as everything else is moving to make it look even more 3D. So if I'm making a lights layer, I could make the light, by the way, also follow the spaceships. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Okay, I can create 4 different kinds of lights in After Effects. Parallel light is one that shines directly from, well, it shines directly like the sun in the morning or in the evening, that the direction is quite clear. Well, a point light is, well, a point that shines from one place directly. Then a spot, well, you probably know what a spotlight is. It makes a cone of light, and then there's ambient light, which is all over the place. So what I want now is a point light. And I don't want it to cast shadows as such. Do I want some fall off? Maybe some. Let's put smooth fall off. And I'll put the intensity already to more than 100%, because I know I'm going to need an intense spotlight, point light. Okay, and I can change these later on if I want to. And I'm probably going to want that. Okay, as you can see, the point light made everything dark. So I need to move it to the place I want first. And that would be by the spaceships. And because a light is 3D object by default, I need to check in the custom view where my light is exactly. And move it accordingly so that I can see. Okay, there they are. So as you might notice, I need a lot more power to my light, more intensity. So let's do just that. Light options. So it's not giving me much light. Change it to something else. Something other than a point light. Might give me more oomph. Now it's vaguely lighting up other things, other objects. Okay, I might be better off with another sort of light, really. So let's try out spotlight. Although spotlights are a little bit, you need to always know where to put the cone of that spotlight and so on. So it's a bit of a hassle if you have a small screen. Still not happy. Okay, you notice that if I make it an ambient light with this intensity, then it will be really, really intense, and it will be all over the place. So it doesn't actually give me any options here. So now that's also not the best option. Then we have parallel lights. Which I can also point in a direction. But I'm afraid the lights are not actually very good right now at working. I should need to put several point lights over by the spaceships. So I think I'll just forget the idea for now of having lights. But now you at least saw that the lights are possible. So use them if you want to. There is a possibility, by the way, that it looks better through the camera. Yeah. It is a little bit better, but not by much. The other thing is I'm trying to light up both these spaceships at once, and that might be my main problem here. So I might, if I want to use the lights, then I might need a couple of them. So if I attach the light to the ship parent, what happens is that it follows it around, and as you can see, it's lighting up the moon as we go, some planets. So yeah, I kind of like this effect that it's lighting up the moon. However, I would need another point light for the other spaceship, or ambient light actually, if I wanted this to actually work. And then I need to, okay, I found the other spaceship, great. Okay, as you can see, this is not the first time I've used lights, but there is always some sort of hassle with them. And I need to save it at this point in case it wants to crash on me. Let's see if the fall of distance will affect anything. Yes, great. Radius and fall of distance, yes, that helps already. Yeah, I think I can go with this. And now, if I don't want this planet to be just black and that's it, I need to change it a little bit in how it takes colors. So material options, and I'll change the light transmission so that the light will shine partly through it. And it was it the wrong planet? Okay, not happening. And there's this planet. So here there's already some light transmission going on, which doesn't seem to work. Okay, interesting. And then we're getting to the moon. So yeah, this is the way lights work or don't work. I'm changing the radius and fall of distance here to make things a little bit brighter. And as the last thing, there's my space layer, the background layer that I had ignored for so long. So I could make just a small movement for that. It's a 2D layer, but I can still make it move. Not sure if that's a good idea, but let's see how it goes. Oh, no. Wrong axis. Okay, let's see. Superficially, it would seem to work. So it's not. And did it crash? No, not quite. Whoa, I think it's about to crash now. Okay, so that could be a short scene. So I'm going to save this quickly now before it wants to crash. So right, I'm going to make another example of a different kind of camera movement, but I need a 5 minutes break before that, so I'll stop sharing and trading for now.